Do you ever feel like stretching gets you nowhere, as if you're in a battle with your body? Or do you have reflexes that take over and feel uncontrollable? My name's Martin, and I run a rehabilitative massage practice called Wake Massage in Portland, Oregon. And learning the language of the body is the very first thing that I cover with all my first-time clients. It really makes all the difference when working with a new person, especially when they're in pain. In a sense, the body speaks multiple languages, but the ones that are relevant to us right now are the languages of movement, of pressure, and of the breath. Now, as I see it, you and your body are not the same entity. You, the person with an identity, is the non-physical being, which resides in the animal body, the physical being. This concept is nothing new. Your body has the same instinctual reflexes as any other animal. And those reflexes aren't just limited to the physical. There are mental and emotional reflexes as well, and they all influence each other. Just like something too hot makes us reflexively pull back, so too do emotions reflexively happen, like jealousy, say when our friends are given something that we wanted right in front of us. Learning to recognize that these reflexes are just default animal settings helps us to give so much more grace and have so much more compassion and patience in dealing with the body. Body Speak 101. Regarding the language of movement, it's what we're most fluent in because it's what we unequivocally rely on. Though, sometimes things like cramps or spasms can occur, and movement then becomes a game of sorts. And like the games of my era, there are occasional glitches, reactionary fits that can cause larger issues if not resolved. In order to resolve them, they require that you develop fluency in other languages of the body to help correct the body's programming or repair the code. And just as in any language, the tone of your speech makes a difference. So being keen to tactfully communicate in the appropriate tone what you're trying to communicate to the body is imperative. Slow, fluid movements communicate safety through control. Fast, erratic movements communicate that you want the body to be in emergency mode, which is its reactionary default. The body is wired to keep us alive after all. Survival is its standard. But I want to thrive, not just survive. Thriving means healing and living from a place of, as cliche as it sounds, wholeness and abundance. Surviving is all about living in a type of fear, a hypervigilant state where one can never be too careful. Thriving is all about being liberated through the safety in one's own security by their own force of will, fortitude of body, and presence of being. The older I get, the more I'm finding that the difference between surviving and thriving is the same difference between the body and the spirit. When the body can trust and heal, the spirit can be eager to discover and explore and be curious and playful. Now, we're learning about speaking multiple languages of the body at the same time, so we've got to make sure that our messaging across all of them is coherent. The tone of your touch must match the tone of your breath if you want to have a chance at correcting your body's glitches. Those dramatic, reactionary moments that happen out of nowhere, like cramps, spasms, and random fits of pain, can be curbed by having a proper handle on how you command your body with your tone and in how many ways you communicate the same message. Now we've covered the language of movement, we're going to cover the language of the breath. So, regarding the language of the breath, where you and your body meet physically is in the lungs, at the capillaries. Pulling air in is inspiration and imbues the body with spirit. It's a thing of poetry, this fact, that the body pulls in the invisible ether and comes to life. And the cycles of the breath are this constant act of renewing the spirit, expressing our iterative nature of learning and growing. We are just as much a part of nature as anything else. And when we observe the waves of the breath and see this pattern within and around us, our interconnectedness becomes glaringly apparent. Despite the delusional environment we've been raised in, acting as though we're anything other than which we, humanity, have spaced ourselves so far from in the last 100 years. But that's a whole nother bunny trail. In regards to breathing, so long as I draw breath, my body is inspired. Inspired to seek, to create, to explore, and to delve into the depths of movement and test limits. And in testing limits, pain can occur, which is indicative of trauma. When we give the command to our body to move, in large it obeys right away, but trauma changes that. The more trauma the body has, because tissues hold on to the memory of the trauma that it experiences, the more opportunities for glitches in the communication between person and body. Pain in itself is by definition a traumatic experience, and traumatic experiences coupled with crippling beliefs are a duo of disaster. From our last video, we learned that the first sign of pain is a yellow flag that eventually goes red if it's repeatedly neglected and ignored, and that learning to work with pain is all about learning the language of the body. When the body experiences pain, it takes forceful control of the breath, holding, bracing, recoiling, and defending. This is why I consider the breath as the leash to the animal body. When in pain, it rejects, it pushes, it will not receive, it will not listen. And the more severe the pain, the more stubbornly the body behaves. But when you consciously choose to take over the leash of the breath, your animal body soon follows your lead. Breathing in a slow, filling, and rhythmic way is what the body does when it's in a state of trust and receptivity. So, deliberately engaging in this kind of breath tells the body, in a language that it understands, that it needs to listen and learn to be receptive to what you're experiencing and to trust you. Doing this repeatedly will build a new habit and a new empowered way of dealing with pain and building trust with your body. Even when in the throes of painful fits of debilitation, it is possible, albeit difficult, but very possible, to take control of the breath and inspire your body to listen and behave in trust of the experience that it's having rather than in rejection of it. Is this making sense? So, movement and breathing. That's it? That's the big secret you have to tell me, Martin? No, mindful, cautious, and deliberate movement and breathing, dedicating all of your focus to expressing these languages, is what deepens your relationship with the body. Your body will trust you more and more when you take the lead and patiently and compassionately show it what you need of it. If you think of your body as your favorite pet animal, it will be easier to care for your body's needs and take them more seriously. So going back to the whole cramp thing though, is that it? Just mindful movement and breathing? Not quite. There are a couple additional factors that play into the occurrence of cramps, and the next two videos will cover those concepts. In fact, the next thing that we cover is the most important, most foundational, most influential, singular thing at the lowest cost with the greatest accessibility around the globe that anyone of any level of fitness and function can do to improve their health and every singular operational feature of their body. Yet, most doctors and physical therapists don't even get that it's this important. What could possibly be so instrumental to our wellness and so underappreciated by practically the whole field of healthcare? If you don't know now, you'll feel silly. You know what? I'm just gonna leave it like that.